Tell you what, that's how it feels when you get a proper good flat tyre, isn't it? Hello and welcome back to Norfolkfords. Just thought I'd show off this week's big job, really. We've had a few problems with the 6310. I've made videos on the 6310 before where we've had the front PTO off and done some other tidy up jobs. But we actually had it break down on us a little bit. The oil transmission pressure sensor was saying we either had too high or too low pressure. It doesn't tell you, it's just a light bulb, proper old school. So the bulb came on, and instead of doing the classic farmer trick of just putting some black tape over the bulb so you don't have to worry about it, we actually went about trying to fix it. So Thompson's, they have the kit that allows you to tilt the cab over, and very grateful they let us borrow it. So we borrowed the kit, and I set to work on this one afternoon, and I got it tilted over. Not a problem. So what went wrong with getting this sensor out? So the sensor is this one up here. My problem I had with the sensor was trying to get the plug into the harness, which is just, hang on, let me turn the torch on, which is just down there, is you can't get two hands up there to connect it. So I had the floor panel out, and that gives you access to this section. Rather pointless, but hey ho. So I couldn't get it that way, so I thought, right, I'll take the transmission filter off. No. Mr. Transmission Filter said, no, I live here now, I don't want to go. So they do this handy little trick where the outer casing spins and the threaded part stays tight on the filter housing. So this is why we needed to do this. So tilt the cab over, like I said, afternoon's job, got it up, and then we have the filter housing off. And I was quite happy because I thought usually when the filters get stuck on the housing, you have to change the housing. I managed to get it off with the age-old tactic, which my granddad Will used to do, chisel through the side of it. And that got it off. So luckily we just got to tidy up that surface, tidy up in there as well, put a new gasket in and put the filter back on. But that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg. We thought, well, while we've got the cab up, we'll give it a deep clean. As you see, we've sort of started on a deep clean. All of this, these are your cables for your gearbox. All of these were just crammed full of muck. I have no idea how we're changing gear because it didn't look like we had the room to do so. But, I made a start. That's a lot of it on the floor there. But made a start clearing it out. I thought, bloody hell, there is a good bit of muck in this area here. I've got to make a start on that. So I made a start, and as I'm going, there's a pipe that comes down. I've taken the pipe off, which is a bit silly for my example, which has just got a little bit thin. There's a rubbed out part where it hadn't broken through, but it was one of those things of, come on, Dad, we've got the cab tilted like this. Let's just do it some justice and change the pipe. He said, yeah, go on then, just have a look. So I thought to myself, right, I'll just follow where it goes to, undo the end, and then I can just, cut a little bit off the pipe and then go get another pipe of that length and size, because I just wanted to just cut a little bit off, just so I had the right size. So I just followed the pipe like, this is all I did. I followed the pipe like this, give it a little pull like this, and can you, hang on, torch on again. It broke a cast bit. I think it must have been like that for a while, because honestly, I did that. And that end came off with the pipe. So I asked Dave, who I used to work with, that is the free flow return from the cab up there. You see that fitting there? Yeah, that's the free flow return for the cab. Like the steering, I believe, and the brakes? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's free flow from there, comes along, drapes over the top of the transmission like this, and into there. There's the big free flow return for the SCV block. And that does look a bit tight in there, so a bit more stripping out, methinks. But that's the excitement of the 6310. Doing silly little things again, aren't you? Our old classic. I still Still haven't gotten around to getting some new stickers on. That would be nice, but stickers aren't important when there are bigger issues like this. But I am really chuffed that I managed to save the housing, because I don't know what they were, but that's easily £100, if not more, that's been saved. So, you know, the frustrating thing about the filter that well, let me tell the full story. So, it had the light on, and I thought, well, I haven't got the sensor with me. I've ordered the sensor, but I've got the filters. I'll just do it as a service and just see if just changing the filters sorts it out. Because sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I went in there thinking, well, I'll change it anyway. It needs it, you know, I'll drop the oil later, sort of thing. So I changed the filters and just had a look, see if that changed it. Didn't change it. Then, like I said, went to undo this just to get a bit more access to the sensor, and it just spun. So I'd literally put the filter on the day before. Yeah, literally the day before, and it just spun. It just spun. And you think to yourself, for goodness sake, because, you know, there are a lot of hooligans out there that, you know, when they do up a filter, they use the big bar. I didn't. I used the 1/2-inch ratchet, because that's what you're meant to do. Oh, yeah, I was cursing myself a little bit for that. Because, you know what, I'd love to know why the filters just sometimes spin. Because I've had it, when I used to work for Tubby's, I had it a few times, and that does make you swear. That's why I have the big bar. That's for undoing, not doing up, that's for undoing, and I still couldn't undo it with a crush filter strap and that bar. So you know it was holding on some. So, what else have I been up to this week? Because it's been a hell of a busy week. Let's move on. So this week I have also been in the main boiler house. This is our big wood chip boiler. It is massive. I've shown videos on this before, but still have never made a video on how it works and the big workings of it. I'll get round to it. This is a very complicated bit of engineering, and it would be really good to show it off in a full video. But here we are with the boiler. So if I show you just quickly the main chamber. And then you get a bit better idea of how it works. So if we look in here, this is the main burn chamber. And this works on like a 2P machine, is the best way to describe it. All of these little layers slot in and out of each other, exactly like a 2P machine. So wood chip comes in right at the back there, and is burnt and slowly pushed to the front here, where it ends up as this lovely fine ash. So what's wrong with the boiler, you say? Well, I'll show you. If we come round the back here, ignore the little bit of mess from all the wood chip that's fell out as we've taken it apart. We have the main feed. So if we look the other side of this door here, we have a series of pullers which just pull wood chip into this sort of trench, and the trench is a big conveyor belt, or chain conveyor is more accurate. You can see there, sort of drags it along the floor. So them chains drag wood chip through here, then up the chute. The chute then drops, and there shouldn't normally be a big hole here, but this is where we've removed quite a large amount of metal. So if I stand back here, you can sort of visualise it a little bit more. In a second I'll show you the pieces we've removed. So out they come here. We then have a fire door that slides in and out here, stopping any fire going further up than that. What you then have is the fire door opens, fills a little chamber here with, like, it's got a little level sensor sort of thing, so you get an idea of how that works. So it fills up the chamber with only as much as the chamber can hold, then the fire door shuts again. Then at the bottom here, you can see that plate here is set at an angle. there's a big pusher as done by a big hydraulic ram. So then with the door shut up here, you have the pusher. The pusher then just goes all the way back. That chamber then empties in front of the pusher. The pusher then shoves it all the way up into the burn chamber. So this is the back end of the burn chamber. You can see them sort of bricks again up on the roof, and that's sort of how it works. This piece here is a water jacket for cooling to stop too much of the heat coming back into the sort of pusher area. So what we had as the problem was the pusher, this machine, this whole setup is over 10 years old now. So it's fair to say we're getting to the age where you can have a bit of fair wear and tear. So the pusher spends all its life just like that, makes that noise and everything. So what happens? It sits on a plate about that thick. That's a little over, that's just shy of sort of 3/4 of an inch. That's about, yeah, that's a weird size. I'd say that's between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. So it sits on a plate like that and spends its life going up and down, pushing wood chip into the burn chamber. Of course, that eventually, over 10 years, has worn that plate thin to the point where we were getting wood chip falling through it and leaking out. So we'd been plating it up for a little while, and it's now May time. The weather's actually on our side. We don't actually need all this marvellous wood chip burner producing heat for the glass houses, because the glass houses are actually staying warm through the natural weather. They're getting all the sunlight through the glass, and then it's staying in overnight and keeping everything nice and warm. So we don't need the wood chip boiler on at the minute, so we've turned it off. Month of May is its resting month. This boiler works 11 months of the year. Some months work harder than the others, admittedly, but this sort of time it's on fairly tick over, and May we just turn it off, because then we can do some big jobs, and this is a big job. So we've got the pusher off and we're going to send it away, and it's going to be rebuilt with all better, well, not better plating, it's going to be made up to how it was. It's going to be replated basically. So it's in some need of some proper love and care. Another job which is needed, now this is going to be a bit hard to explain, but that's the main sort of like smoke outlet, but there's very little smoke. This is a very clean emission wise boiler. So it comes out here and goes through a first consider that a filter. So fine particulate ends up in that barrel, and we dispose of that later. Then the smoke and fumes is then allowed to go through this turbine. This turbine then spins it up and out, sort of like a suction type thing, up and out of the chimney at the top. So this is actually worn thin as well. I think this might be the original fan extractor unit again, but I can put my finger in that. I shouldn't be, but again, we've plated this up. Classic red oxide. You're on a farm when you see red oxide everywhere. Got holes in this everywhere. Luckily, we have a new one. So inside this crate is exactly the same extraction fan unit. You can see it there. And look at that, no holes. Perfect. So that's going to be fitted rather soon. So maybe not next week, because I got the 6310 to finish off. And we're quite busy in the field, but I imagine if not by the end of next week, the week after, we'll fit that, as well as putting all the other parts of the boiler back together. So let me show you the bits that we've taken off. So these are all the lovely big bits that have been removed from the boiler. This is the main pusher unit, which is the reason we stripped it out. And now that I've given it a wash, if you just look here, that's thin metal. That is, you can actually see the plate that we've welded in underneath, which is plating this up a bit further. But basically all this does is, the big elevator that I showed you propped up, that drops into this, then big old ram just shoves it into the boiler. You can sort of picture it if I tilt it like that. You can actually see the sort of where it sits. So there's the big ram. That is heavy. That bruised my shoulder lifting that up because we put a strap round ourselves and sort of lifted it between the two of us on our shoulders because that's better than using our arms because we had grip. But cool, that was heavy. And there's the fire stop as well. And this is it shows how much hydraulic pressure is in that, because that is maybe, yeah, that's 3/8 thick plate. I should bend it over like that. Admittedly, there should really be some sort of bracing there, but then I think that would restrict you because the fire stop comes out here. So I guess that'd stop you. We've got to take the rams off as well. That's the job for Monday, just to get them sealed up. We've got all the other rams off the boiler as well. We're actually going to reseal that one as well. And that is a monster, absolute monster. I mean, look at the bore on that. Girthy. So, before I take the time to say, here's the 4610. A bit of an unfortunate problem with it. Starter motor's played up. So I've got a clip of me the other day where I was going to pull out an irrigation reel with this because we were quite busy with all the other tractors. Hello and welcome back to Norfolkfords. I'm in the Ford. What a change. We're really busy at the minute. We've got aster planting, we've got glady planting, we've got a lot of land being moved about, we've got tractors on trailers. So annoyingly, the 6310 has thrown a wobbly and it's got a few sort of hydraulic issues, which we've all looked at and gone, right, it's off the road, we can't use it. Got stuck on a trailer earlier, so the picker pitch wasn't releasing. So when you got little issues like that, it's just niggling and annoying, and you think, right, we really shouldn't be using this. Let's get it fixed. So we still need to pull out the irrigation reels. So I've got a picker pitch on the little Ford. So let's get it going. Also, I don't know if you noticed in the tractor run video, that's not an illusion. That is a window. So let's get going. You sound like a bag of shit. Well. You went on a tractor run and had a lovely time, and now you're throwing dicky fits. I'm not impressed. Not impressed. Let me show you. This sounds painful. You're a brand new fucking starter motor. You were only on a couple of years ago. You've done no work. Why are you smoking? Fordy. You were supposed to save us when we're down a tractor. You silly old blue thing. One job. Disappointed. So, yeah, basically starter mode didn't work. So, ended up pulling out with the JCB. That was fine, but yeah, fairly gutted that we've had to go through that because the starter motor is only 3 years old. I fit that 3 years ago. Also, a little bit disappointed. I need to spend some time with this tractor because I'm a little bit gutted at the minute, and it sort of started with the road run. I had the excitement of putting the back window in. So, you know, we've got a back window. How cool is that? I honestly didn't know if I'd ever find a back window. And, you know, that's quite a big deal. It's really weird now. I'm not used to the window being there. So it's really weird knowing that there's something there in a tractor that I've always had an open back to. You know, like on the old 4000s when you had a cab on them. they would just open. This is the same, but now I've got a back window. I need to spend a bit more time and love on it, because the truth is, it's nearly there. I'm not really sure what little bits I need to do, obviously to start them over, but that's more of a running issue, not really a restoration issue. I need to sort out like the way the bonnet panels fit together, because I'm not quite happy with that. They don't sort of sit square to where they should be. I don't really know where I need to tweak is the thing. I think maybe the hinges and stuff. These stickers, I bought these from Agriline to go on the road run, and I'll be honest, I'm really disappointed with them. This does not look the right colour at all, to the point where it makes my paintwork, which I know is the right colour, look completely wrong. It almost looks a bit tealy, which is really annoying. Also, I prepped it as best I could, and they still didn't stick right. Even when I was applying them, they didn't have stick to them. You know, so I'm a bit gutted about them. And you know, that in right, I remember my old stickers. I know they were faded to hell, but they were not like this. They were not this rubbish, really. But yeah, that's where I am with the Ford, really. But you know, I thought I'd release this video today on the 8th of May. The 8th is my birthday. I'm recording this the day before. But if we just head to the other side of the shed quickly. There's the drill all put away for winter. There's no end of jobs I want to like revisit on that. The drill was good, but I know it can be better. But anyway, over here, Dad's only gone and pulled it out of the bag. What do you call them for a birthday present? Set of dual wheels from a tractor. We thought we'd found some a little while ago, but my 4610 runs on R36s, and we found a set of R38s, which we thought, oh, we might be able to make work. No, we didn't. But we have got Dad's Massey over there, which do run on 38, so they will find a use. But yeah, he's pulled out of the bag, and about an hour ago he surprised me and we went and picked them up. So the quality of the tyre is to be desired. Yeah, I blew them up earlier just to see if they would actually hold pressure, and I don't know where it is. I think it was the bottom tyre. Yeah, the one with the blue pallet. One of the cleats actually started lifting up, and I thought to myself, oh, let's find some new rubber. There's nothing worse than a dodgy rubber. But well, we'll just give it a simple little lube, and the actual part that you know the moving parts work. The tyres do hold pressure, but like I said, they're a little bit on the edge of perished. But you know, for if I want to do a bit of rolling, or you know, if the 4610 is destined to be the drill tractor again this year, next year rather, you know, we've got some dual wheels. It's fantastic. It's going to make a big difference to a bit of the quality, because I do feel like yeah, where the drill was going through, you could see where my tyres were, and especially with Dad's Massey, where that was going through and rolling, you could see it leaving marks on the field, and those marks tended to be where birds were going along and eating all the seed, because they could, I guess, where the trenches were dug with the tyres, they could just go along it in a row, and it was sort of digging up the seed for them. So there's a little bit of damage to the field, which I want to get on top of, and dual wheels are definitely the way forward with my style of equipment. But yeah, another idea we've had going forward with the drilling operation as well is when I bought my drill from a lovely chap up sort of Swine's Head way. He was far over the other side of Swine's Head. He sold it to me with this. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is a swan neck, which he said he had made up for him, which basically allows that Massey 30 drill to become a bit of an old school combination drill. So basically all I would need to do is find a 3 metre power harrow, make up a little linkage for that ball to sit on, and then I could run the whole drill unit on the back of the T6. And that gives me a lot of benefits. One, it's GPS accurate then. You know, I haven't got to buy a kit if I wanted to go GPS accurate with the 4610. You know, it's all part of the T6, you know. So it's a little bit of cost saving as well, because I'm only, well, cost and compaction saving and diesel saving, because it's all done in one pass, so it's done with the power harrow as well. I've also got, hang on, let's start again. So less cost on diesel because it's only one pass, less compaction because it's one pass again, less cost because it's only me operating it then. You know, I don't have to pay for Mark Foreman to come out and do my power harrow in front of me. In theory then it would become, you know, as long as I got my plan done ahead of time, it would become a solely one-man operation. Got GPS accuracy, there's another 4. You know, what else is there? I'm trying to think. I had a few other reasons. Yeah, but basically, you got 3 things that save you on cost. Well, actually, they all save you on cost. What am I talking about? Yeah, lots of saving on cost. So, you know, there's a lot of ideas on where we could go with the barley project. You know, it's actually, you know, we're at 60 acres this year. You know, this is actually getting to a big enough size where it actually becomes its own. You can't call it a project anymore. It's actually a thing that's happening. You know, it's actually an asset to me. So, which is good. Which is why it's, you know, got to take the time to think about it seriously. Like, you know, I love my 4610, but if it's going to cost me that little bit extra, especially the way things are going with diesel prices, fertilizer prices especially. Oh my goodness. You know, the way that prices are going at the minute, you know, we've got no guarantee that they will come down anytime soon, if they ever do, you know. So even if I keep sort of thinking it of as a project, 60 acres is still a big lump that takes a good amount of investment and needs handling properly. You know, anybody who does a bit of business, they know you've got to think about these things seriously. So as much as I love the 4610, it may have to retire back onto the even lighter duties, because it worked fantastically as a drilling tractor. I was well chuffed with it, you know, but it can only pull 2 furrows at once. You know, if I take it off the drill, is the shame. It then becomes so it's just a toy that I plough with and do a little bit of light cultivation. But you know, you'd save a lot of money by having it on the T6, or you could potentially if you did it right. So that's the sort of dilemma I'm sat at the minute. It's where do I go forward, because that's a fantastic drilling tractor. It's a brilliant idea using it, especially, you know, that's from the 80s. I think that's from the late 70s, so they're all about the same age. You know, it's got to be thought about. You know, I'm not saying I will this year, but eventually I can't rely on an 80s tractor, because you've got to think about efficiencies in the modern world. You know, it's about being competitive as well, because if the grain prices are set here, they're set by everybody else who's using more modern equipment. I've got to make sure that I can keep my old school equipment as tight as I can be to keep the cost right. So that's where we're at. So the shed's a mess as well, I know. You know, work in progress, everything is. But before I leave you off, I know that these are just some boxes, but in these boxes are a secret project. And I know I need to stop doing more and more projects. But I don't care. No, in here is a secret project, and that'll become apparent later on. But you shan't see a hint of that until the secret project is done, and that'll be done on a big release. But for now, you've got some empty cardboard boxes. So, yeah, enjoy that as a tease, because there's nothing really to give you. But yeah, need to go playing with the Massey soon. See, this is where the Massey has a little bit more go to the 4610, and I do like it for that. It can actually handle the 3 and if I do get my way and put an Opco turbo on it, I think we could push it to 4. But then that would be a bit of hooligan of me. But yeah, that needs some love and care to get it finished off. That needs some love and care because I'm fussy, and secret project. And also drill needs sorting out, and dual wheels need sorting out, and wood chip boiler needs sorting out, and John Deere needs sorting out. What else needs sorting out? Probably ought to do some washing. I'm incredibly mucky. So, lots to sort out. So, yeah, this has been Norfolkfords. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Like and subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Actually getting in a good habit with all the Instagram content as well. That's pretty good fun, actually. Just always trying to make sure that you're taking a photo and just popping it on there. It's actually, I'm getting a nice bit of response from it. So yeah, we'll get the starter motor back on the Ford when we get a chance, and hopefully that just needed a bit of drying out, because what I think was happening was this tap up here for the heater. See, the heater pipe should go under the cab now and you know, go into the heater upstairs, but I haven't linked any of that back up yet. Another naughty boy point, because you haven't finished that off. But it was just weeping a little bit, and of course you just think, oh, it's just weeping a little bit, I'm not losing that much coolant. And it was fine, literally losing like teaspoons. But it was leaking straight onto the starter motor, so I really should have thought about that more, because I think that's what's killed it. But never mind. Anyway, I'm rambling and getting off track. Thank you for watching, and see you next week. So, this week as well, I have been in the main boiler house. We've got... oh, tripped over a ladder.